How about the New York Football Giants? They're going to win the Super Bowl, aren't they? This is just how they do it. Unbelievable that they were able to come out and win the game. Not that unbelievable, I guess. You know, plenty of people were predicting them to pull off the upset, but still, what an upset it was. What a performance from Daniel Jones, and that's the main thing I'm going to talk about in this video, is Daniel Jones he was great. Daniel Jones was great in this one, and definitely the main reason that his team won, so let's talk about it. Let's start off with Daniel Jones' rushing ability, which was, listen, Daniel Jones is an effective runner, and honestly, I got kind of some vibes of how you see teams defend Lamar Jackson, which is you can't sort of figure it out, because Jones is a very effective runner, not just with designed runs, but also with quarterback scrambles, and this is an example, and you'll get the Lamar Jackson, why I bring that up in a second, but just, part of it is because you would see teams like against the Ravens not run this type of coverage because of Lamar's ability to run, and you kind of saw this with the Vikings, where they started off playing some man coverage, but Jones would take advantage. Look at how when he takes the snap, the player who's the linebacker covering over the middle of the field, it's the guy I've circled in yellow right there. You see how he's, in coverage, looking over towards his left, so towards the top of the screen. Jones notices that and knows that since it's man coverage, you have 5 players looking at their guy they're supposed to be covering. You do have a player over the middle of the field in this situation in the cover one hole that the Vikings are playing, so typically that guy can still tackle Daniel Jones in this situation, but the issue is since he's looking elsewhere, Jones now realizes he has an opportunity to run. Watch him be able to scramble, and it's a free play, so they would have gotten 5 yards regardless, but they get much more than 5 yards with that one, and that's just what Daniel Jones was able to do a lot of times, was he used his legs to set up the pass. He used his legs to put himself in position to where teams, the Vikings didn't want to play man coverage too often, and that's when they were able to thrive in the passing game. Like over here, what would happen is, okay, if the opposing defense is going to play a lot of zone, like they did some zone blitzes in this one, you saw this is a zone blitz, you can run zone busters to try and make sure that you can allow yourself to get guys open, to scheme guys open. A lot easier to do this stuff against zone than it is against man, because you have a receiver on the offense's right running a deep route that's going to push that corner further deep, so then when your receiver all the way to the left kind of gets all the way over there, a Viking player will probably pick it up and get over there as well, but it's just going to, probably be out of position a little bit, because that's not where you're, thinking pre-snap where you have to cover. Like, watch as when this play begins, you do see that, this just gets open, and it's schemed open, and it's easy to scheme it open when you can trust that the opposing defense is probably going to play a lot of zone coverage, because they are not afraid, or they are afraid of your quarterback's rushing ability. Just makes things easier. And also, Jones makes a great throw to allow his receiver to make the catch, Darius Slayton on that one. So good stuff by Jones. So again, yes, guys are getting schemed open, but he also has to hit the throws, and he's hitting the throws. So those things working together, making things pretty easy. Like stuff like this is another one where it's a cover 2 zone. So you have a receiver who's going to try to just get the inside leverage against the safety towards the top of the screen. That's what he's trying to do here. Watch how right when this play begins, you see that right here, that's what he's successfully done. There is a passing lane for Jones to make this throw. Jones does make this throw, and again, it's simple. It's not difficult, but you know what? A lot of times in the NFL, it's about doing the simple stuff, and that's what the Giants offense was doing. It's just they were running concepts that they knew would work, and they were executing those concepts to a really high degree, so that's what they were able to do, here. This play was another very notable one, I think, as it's zone coverage that the Vikings are in. You have a receiver who's just trying to get into a gap in coverage. That's all he's trying to do underneath, and that's actually not even where Daniel Jones is starting off this play looking. He's looking elsewhere, going to look what's off screen, so we can't see exactly what happens. However, Jones takes the snap, looks in a way where he just doesn't love what's over the middle, so he decides to scramble out, and he's going to run instead to try and find a player who I highlighted earlier. This is Isaiah Hodgins on this one, who, again, did a good job of finding the gap in coverage and staying in there as long as possible until Jones could eventually scramble out and find him and hit him. And then you see Hodgins is actually going to do a good job after the catch. So again, it doesn't matter what the name is on the back of your jersey. It doesn't matter how well known you are. If you're playing well, you're playing well. And you also have some of these receivers for the Giants who maybe aren't stars still stepping up and making plays, which is definitely nice to see. You had stuff like this, which is, just the simple stuff, right? Do the easy things, the rest will follow, where you're going to have three different eligible receivers running deep routes, pushing Minnesota players further deep, and Darius Slayton is just going to run underneath. That's, how this concept works. Typically, you hope something deeper gets open, but if it doesn't, don't be afraid to just throw underneath. Like, look at how when this play begins, you see that Slayton is just open. This is easy, right? This is not a difficult throw, but it can definitely go for a lot of yards. Watch as Jones hits Slayton, and Slayton is going to be able to pick up a first down on a 2nd down and 10. So being able to get this stuff and get these kind of easy, nearly an explosive play. I mean, that was just shy of 15 yards, so I believe it actually might have been 15 yards, so it would have been an explosive. That's what an explosive is 15 yards. So being able to get those simply and get those easily is definitely part of why this Giants offense was able to have such a good day. However, going over to this play, it was not only easy plays. That's not all they were able to do. They were able to make some impressive plays as well, and this is an example for Daniel Jones, where you see the way this concept is going to happen and how this can potentially work. It's Isaiah Hodgins' route that you see on the screen. If it can get kind of underneath the corner's route, this could potentially get open, but, it's not easily going to work. It's something that definitely you can cover. Watch as when Jones takes the snap, he is going to look in that direction. He is, he scrambles out actually, throws off balance, but sees Hodgins is open on this play. Tough catch though. He's towards the sideline. You do have Patrick Peterson who knows what to do in this situation. He's going to try to, knock Hodgins out of the way. But look at that. Good defense, better offense, a great catch on the sideline, and being able to make some big plays as well is obviously key because, listen, say what you want about the Vikings defense, there still is some players who can make plays. You sometimes have to go above and beyond and make a good play of your own, and that's what the Giants were able to do here. So yeah, just a huge win from the Giants' perspective. Again, how far are they going to go? I don't know. You could definitely make the argument that they will lose to Philadelphia next week. If they get killed by Philadelphia next week, which is definitely possible, they've gotten killed by Philadelphia earlier on this season. Obviously, last week they lost to them, but they weren't playing their starters, so you don't care about that. They did lose 48-22 the last time they played, but at the same time, hey, we've seen it happen where a team blows out a team in the regular season, but then loses in the postseason to that same team. It's certainly possible the Giants could pull off that upset. They already pulled off one upset, and we've seen the Giants pull off crazier upsets in the divisional round than just that. But even if they do get crushed next week, what a season for the Giants. I mean, this would have been a great season if the Giants went like 7-10. We would have said, hey, at least I would have been like, hey, Giants overperformed my expectations. The fact that they are going to be one of 8 teams still competing for the Lombardi Trophy, I mean, absolutely remarkable. They deserve a ton of credit. That's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.